There's, at least in the near term, maybe even in the lifetimes of most people in this room, I don't think a clear finish line. This is more about getting to a place where we have peaceful and maybe somewhat more productive coexistence between us. Because the bottom line is this: China's not going away, we're not going away. So, in the first instance, we have to find a way to coexist and coexist peacefully. We know we're in an intense competition. We talked about the competition to try to shape the post-Cold War era. At the same time, we are determined that that competition not veer into conflict, which would be terrible for everyone involved. But this is a long-term competition. As I said, I don't think there's a finish line, but we want to make sure that in that competition, we're in a position of strength where we are, as I said, able to shape what comes next. And I think, from my perspective at least, we are approaching this from a position of strength, precisely because of the investments we've made in our competitiveness, precisely because of the convergence that we built with key partners in Europe, key partners in Asia, on how to approach the challenges that China poses. From China's perspective, no surprise to people here, is that our purpose is to contain them, to hold them down, to hold them back, globally and economically. And the fact of the matter is it's not. And it's also not in our interest to do that. China sees us as being engaged in decoupling. The argument that I made to our counterparts is that if you actually look at what's happening and what's happened, the facts belie that assertion. Our trade with China last year reached the highest level ever. We had more foreign direct investment going to China last year than in any year since 2014. Yes, we have export controls. We have sanctions on individuals and Chinese entities, about 1,000 or so, all told. There are 48 million companies registered in China. So that's hardly decoupling if we've got very targeted restrictions on I think it's 0.0001% of the companies in China. At the same time, it's not in our interest to hold them back. We have done, I think, very well in recovering from COVID. Other countries are struggling more. We don't want to be the only engine for growth in the world. We want to see a China that's actually succeeding economically. It's in our interest. But equally, and again, I shared this with our counterparts, how is it in our interest to allow them to get technology that they may turn around and use against us, whether it's in building a very opaque nuclear weapons program and expanding it at a very rapid pace, developing hypersonic missiles, using AI potentially for repressive purposes. It's not in our interest to do that. If they were in our shoes, they would do exactly the same thing. And so the very targeted, very narrowly defined controls that we put in place are designed to prevent that.